while some of my content may seem self-indulgent, and perhaps in some ways it is, really the reason I do what I do is to inspire other people to look within themselves and see the beauty that they hold. We live life in the middle of chaos, and it's easy to get swept away and caught up in misery. But it's really important that we take time to just reflect upon ourselves and realize really how incredible we are. Everybody has something in them. There's a skill set, there's a trait, there's potential. There really is. But a lot of the time it's lifestyle factors, it's societal, beliefs that get ingrained, it's peer pressure, there's all these different things. And slowly but surely it erodes our personality. It makes us smaller and smaller. And then people project all the time. So as soon as you start to believe in yourself, you have a bit of confidence, and you even show signs of being quite competent at something or even becoming masterful, people don't like it. Then they want to bring you down a peg or two. So it's almost like the average person is comfortable stagnating, or they're comfortable just bringing others down. It's just normal. So when I talk positively about myself, I recognize there may be perceived a level of arrogance. And like I said, maybe there is a level of arrogance within it. But I don't necessarily think that's particularly a bad thing. When you consider the consequences, I think it's far better to believe in yourself than it is to dim your light. So that's where that comes from. And of course, look, what I do and when I talk, it is polarizing. There will be people who are inspired, and there'll be people that are triggered. But the one thing I would say there is the things I talk about and like what I feel I'm good at, it can be judged, if you like. It can be questioned. So, for instance, where I was talking recently in a video, I think it was over yesterday or the day before, I mentioned the fact that I just consider podcasts poor quality. Overall, I've not seen many good podcast presenters, people that articulate very well, and they hold the audience. I find it boring as shit. It's self-indulgent. It reminds me of the radio where people just talk about packets of crisps in mid-song, and it's just like, what the hell am I listening to? I don't want to hear about this shit. And then they have another presenter on, and they just laugh amongst themselves. It's really boring conversation. It's inside jokes. It's just a waste of time. So a lot of podcasts for me are just fillers. They're just daytime fillers. They're entertainment fillers. They're just, I don't know. It's just noise, and people get money for this. Now, I've considered what I was doing leading towards podcasting in a beneficial way. Like I said, I try to share life experiences, and I think I consider it potentially helpful to people. But when I see the way podcasts are going, it's like, I don't really want to be part of that community. So I'm just struggling to find my place in the creative fields. That's really where I'm struggling. In the end, it's like, I'll just do my own thing. It's like, I'm not trying to fit in. It's like, sometimes you see potential, because to fit in somewhere means there's potentially community, which means you can collaborate, which means you can elevate, you can evolve. There's all things to learn. You can bounce off each other. There's all beautiful things within collaboration. But of course, if it goes the wrong way, you can lose your identity, you can lose your freedom. It ends up a headache. So I'm moving more towards just continuing my own journey. So instead of keep looking left and looking right and looking all these directions at all these potential possibilities, which seem to be dead ends or a waste of time, I might as well just continue doing what I'm doing. I'll just do my videos when I fancy doing a video, and I'll write my books when I fancy writing my books, and I'll relax in my spare time, and I won't look to collaborate. It's just, at this point in time, it's not worth it. Like I said, people can judge me all they want. It's fine. So like, if I question things and then I say, I don't consider myself a professional, but I think I'm pretty good at what I do, and I'm bordering on pretty great at what I do, in all honesty. Because I watch my content back, I'm always learning, I'm always evolving. I've been learning and evolving for years. That's the thing. There's something I want to show in a moment, but that's the point. Someone could sit there and go, who's this guy? But I would argue, well, listen to me speak. You might not like what I've got to say half the time, because maybe it's triggering. But if you listen to the way I speak, I think I speak quite clearly. I think quite confidently. So it's articulated pretty well. And now in your look, don't have to show me because I don't really care. But if in your own life, maybe look at other creators, other podcasters, whatever, and compare that then and say, look, this guy's full of himself. That's what you could do. If you look at me, you could say, oh, he's full of himself. But the way I come across, maybe my opinion can seem full of myself. If you actually look at the way I carry myself, my demeanor, my persona, all these different things, do I look like someone that's really like that arrogant? I mean, that's up to people how they perceive things, of course, but I don't think I come across that way because I'm not thinking that way. I'm just confident in myself. So like I say, you can listen to the way I speak, you can hear what I've got, the topics I talk about, and my perspective on things. You can question my intelligence, you can question my delivery. And then I'd say just go and compare that to someone else. Listen to other content creators and think to yourself, does that one sound better than that one? And then I think personally, this is how I think, I'm not trying to posture myself here. I know what I'm good at. And then I think you're perhaps going to have to find some of the best in the field. And that's where you'll probably say, well, okay. Well, that one's more professional. They've got more of a network. They've got more of this, blah, blah, blah. And I can understand that. Someone that's further on, higher up, maybe, I don't know what level. But the average podcaster, I don't think so. And that's my reflection. And again, this isn't from posturing. It's more recognition of myself. I'm sick of dimming myself. For years and years and years, there's always this question mark over this and that. And it's like, no, I'm good at what I do, bordering on pretty great, to be totally honest. And I recognize that. And I'm not going to say otherwise because I wouldn't believe it if I said it. If I was to try to dim anything, I would be lying to myself. Why would I be lying to myself? To lower expectations? Would I care about expectations? Or is it to sort of appease people so they don't feel threatened? Well, it's not my fault if people got insecurities and they don't like it. So, yeah, the way I carry myself and my opinions are going to be polarizing, but it's not for me to worry about. I'm good at what I do and I know I am, so why should I say otherwise? And I've noticed that, and it's been a long time coming, and I want to just show a video here because I think it's really important. It puts it into perspective. Because I say a lot, like overnight success, it's not overnight. It takes years. And I've done videos in the past talking about this, like even just the delivery and the way I articulate and communicate. Naturally, I'm a fast talker. So like if I'm talking privately with someone and they're intelligent or they can pick up things quick or they talk fast, I can match them because that's how I think. I'm a fast thinker, but I'm also a very fast talker. But I've had to fine tune that for professional reasons. Like if I do my audio books and all different things, and I recognize that it's just better to take your time and speak clearly. So there's a professional element to that I fine tuned. It's not something I've mirrored or copied off someone else. It's something that internally I've looked at my work and I've thought about it and I thought, you know what, you need to be a bit calmer there because not everybody can listen fast. So the words carry power. So let people hear the words. So anyway, so even just the way I carry myself on camera and the way I articulate and things like that, this has been like a long time coming. It's been a process. And, when you consider that maybe I say some profound things and maybe I'm intelligent and that comes from life experience. So I've had to go through a lot of things in my life. I've had to transmute the circumstance. I've had to learn some big lessons rather than let it consume me, destroy me, make me bitter, make me angry, make me vengeful. I've had to learn the lesson in it and then hopefully show other people, that everything happens for a reason and you can take so much personal and soul growth from these situations rather than see it as an attack on you. Yeah, the person who taught you that potentially was part of the lesson who, let's say someone did something to you and it's made you hardened or it's made you question things or it's made your life hard. If you take the lesson from it, you evolve. So you become more powerful, more stronger. So yeah, okay, maybe the person didn't have the best of intentions. Maybe they wanted to hurt you. There's all these different factors, but it's not for me to teach that person a lesson. And revenge doesn't solve anything. So you just grow. You just grow from the circumstance and leave that person to exist in however they want to exist. If they don't learn their lessons in life, then that's up to them. But I will elevate and it's up to them how they go beyond that, isn't it? So I don't seek revenge. I just keep elevating. So it is time consuming, but it's an evolution of time. I just wanted to show this video just briefly, quickly, because it came up just now, and this is what made me think, maybe I need to talk about that a little bit. But I don't know.
Pablo Picasso, let me cook. So there's this really famous story of Picasso. He's walking through a market, right? Or he's at a coffee shop, or whatever the fuck it is. And he draws this little drawing in like 30 seconds. And this woman is like, "Oh my gosh, like I would love to have this drawing, whatever." And he's like, "Okay, sure, that'll be $1 million." And she's like, "It took you 30 seconds to draw that. How can you charge that much?" And he says, "My good woman, it took me 30 years to draw that in 30 seconds. Your talents, your gifts are so effortless. And people do not understand the level of mastery and how much time that took to get you to this point. This is not just a little simple thing that you're doing. This is the culmination of a lifetime of work. Know your worth. You are much more than whatever it is that the thing is that you're producing, or the thing that you're doing, or whatever the case is. You are all of the mastery, the learning, the failing, the growing behind all of that. Bro, you're...
So what's interesting there, to be totally honest, is, like I said, it's been years in the making. It's been a lot of effort, a lot of time. And yeah, I can produce my work relatively fast in comparison to the average person, or even some of the people that are maybe considered more respected in their field. I can work really, really quick. But it is a culmination of a long time of evolution. So people might see the work and think, oh, it's not like, there's a certain element to it. So like, for instance, the books, if I had my way, the books would be a lot more expensive, like incredibly expensive, because I think they deserve to be. But I want to be able to help more people. So if anyone thinks, for instance, that the work I do should be even cheaper, they need their heads screwed on. Because it's not about the piece of paper. The problem with books in general is people look at like they compare it to every other book in terms of how much the paper costs, how big is the book, all these different things. It's not about that. It's about what's in the book. So this is me sharing the transformations in my life that make me resilient, make me strong, make me confident, and make me master skills. So I'm imparting that wisdom onto other people. So it's not about just the pages of a book. It's all the lessons that I've learned in life that I share with the world. And like she's saying there, like, that's 30 years in 30 seconds. That's exactly what it is. It takes me maybe 3 months to write a book, but that's a culmination of all the work that I've done in my life to evolve to be able to portray that in the book. So someone else might think, oh, it only took you 3 months. I can't believe, like, let's say you sold loads of copies. Like, let's say I sold loads of copies in the future. It changed my life immeasurably. You don't have to worry about money, all these things. Someone might think, I can't believe from 3 months worth of work, they've managed, like, that's how long it took to make the book. And that's literally changed his life. And look at the life. It's not about the 3 months, though. It's about everything that you had to say to put in that book. That's the thing. I don't gatekeep. It's up to people. You can see things as polarizing. You can see things as like really triggering. Or you can learn from it and stop seeing things as a threat and take, it's about evolving your own life. That's what it all comes down to. So I've given the tools. Like, I'm a very spiritual person. I get a lot of signs. This was just one of them. This was the universe showing me that you've put the work in for so long. Don't worry about how people perceive the end result. If people think it looks too easy for you, or you're not putting the efforts in, whatever they want to perceive, it's like they haven't seen the things that you've done. Believe me, I get a lot of signs about success and I get fed up with it. Because it does come full circle, because in my own private life, I get fed up. I've done, like, on TikTok, YouTube, I think there's like over 500 videos. On TikTok, there's thousands of videos. Like my books, there's 6 books. And I keep talking about it, I've still got books in development that I could release even this year if I put my time and effort into it. But there's a huge part of me that doesn't want to. Because although it's, like, let's say it takes me 3 months to do a book, it can still take a little bit more. But let's say it takes 3 months. That's 3 full months. That's me foregoing entertainment. That's me just throwing myself into this, like a lunatic, really. It becomes an obsession. And I don't always like putting myself in that position where I literally just lose myself to it for that period. Although it's only 3 months, every day is a grind. It consumes you, and you lose, like, parts of life. It's like, and it gets frustrating because that's me just delivering my story onto the pages of a book. And I don't always want to do it because, like I said, I have to give up a lot to do that. Even if people consider it a short pace of time, it's a significant piece of time to me. And then I just get resentful because I'm like, there's already 6 books. Like, what more does the world need from me, And I was arguing that, again, my spiritual side, I'm arguing that with the universe even just yesterday. I said, look, I've had enough. I should be successful now. I shouldn't have to keep counting pennies all the time and struggling to pay this and having to sort of like feel bad for indulging with that, Little things. I don't get big indulgences in my life. People might see me have nice things sometimes, but the level of suffering that it takes to have that, it's unreal. To take something with this hand, I have to lose a lot with that hand. So the stress is compound, but I refuse to just have nothing in life. But it's like, I don't think life should be that hard. It should be more fair. I shouldn't have to worry to such an extent. I've done the work. So it's kind of like, why am I having to, well, at least I'm not saying I have to, but I feel I have to always work so hard. Always be available, always continuing to put in the effort, And it's for what, though? Like I said, I just feel like that if the average person come across my content, there's hundreds of videos and there's plenty of books. It's like, I don't even see why I need to do anything else. Like I should. So effectively, if you look at what she's saying there, in 30 seconds, 30 years worth of work in 30 seconds. But the same could be said. Let's say success comes in the future and it's off the back of everything I've done. At that point, people might think he's doing nothing. You know, how lazy. He's not even working on projects. I haven't seen him on camera for a while. Like, what is going on? And it's like, the work was done when I received nothing. Literally nothing. I thought my first book, A Father's Daughter, would be so successful. It was crazy. Bit naive, but I just thought that's going to change my life. It deserves to. It didn't. And every single one of these books that you see on the screen, I felt would change my life. And believe me, every single one I feel deserves to change my life. The work was done. But I did all that, sacrificed time and time again. I left jobs. I've sacrificed for years, like genuinely given up everything at times to do these projects. And I never received recognition, but also financial restitution. So the universe owes me a shitload. The universe owes me a lot. And then even when you consider the fact that I feel like I've really been let down, I understand the personal growth and the development that's come from that. Maybe if I hadn't had those lessons or those experiences, those setbacks, it wouldn't make me as resilient. It wouldn't make me want to progress as hard as it does. It probably wouldn't made me. I probably wouldn't have recognized that how truly great I am at what I do. And again, I know how that sounds when people will hear it, but that is true though. Like if you got success too early, you may get that imposter syndrome where you don't really know if you're really good enough. Like, am I good enough? Am I worthy of all this attention? Am I worthy of praise? You know, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm good enough. Now I have no doubt. I feel frustrated that I haven't got where I should be. It's just ridiculous. So in my mind, I could have another 3 books to this list of books, but it kind of like, well, at this point, what is the point? Like, what difference does it make? I could sacrifice it. If I'm not seeing success after 6, what's to say the next 3 is going to change my life? You know, it's just mad. Again, like I said, there's so many ways you can judge if you choose to judge, but I think it's a complete waste of time because we should be focused on ourselves. What I say about myself shouldn't be triggering to anybody. If it is, you've got to look at your insecurities because that's your ego affected. Like I just said, I've got frustrations in my life where I haven't been as successful as I feel I should. I'm struggling on a regular basis financially in all these different areas. You know, there is a level of loneliness, isolation, but then I don't allow people to come in my life to cause havoc because I'd rather have my peace and solitude rather than feel lonely in a relationship or around the wrong people. I don't need the chaos. So yeah, look, even I'm like that. I'm frustrated, but I don't seek revenge on anybody else. You know, I'm not in competition with anyone else. Yeah, I recognize things that I think I'm better at than other people. Like, for instance, I just said about the podcasts, but I don't go messaging the podcast creators or try to disrupt them. It's like, it's just an awareness of myself, and then I share it a little there, but I haven't gone too big with it. Because I'm not trying to destroy their reputation or try to reduce their success. It's just an awareness of myself that I don't really like the content. So, yeah, and so again, if you go on my videos, for instance, you'll see there's no comments because I'm sick and tired of hearing people's like the noise. I don't need it, good or bad. I'm indifferent, and I just don't like it. And I've said about before that I consider the work I do art, and I think there's too much of this influence. Someone might watch a video, and if they haven't got any influence around them, they're just you having an intimate moment together. They're watching your content, they're hearing what you've got to say. They will garner their own reaction to that, positive, negative, but they'll think for themselves. You allow the comment stream to open. Whether it's good or bad, it influences someone's narrative, the direction their mind's going. All of a sudden, if, say, other people got to take exception to something, it might make you question it. So you're not having a pure fault. You're having an influenced fault by other people. And I don't like that. If people get frustrated that they can't react, it's like tough shit. You don't need to react. You just need to take the teachings, or for good or bad, and implement it in your life. So if you don't like what I got to say, and you don't like the way I carry myself, then of course don't look to replicate that in any way. Don't think about that for your life, because if that's triggering, then don't behave like it. If you think to yourself, this is empowering, I want to believe in myself. I know I've got something beautiful in me. It's like develop it, find that in yourself. You should know, so use it as inspiration. But people take things from what they want all the time. So like, I consider myself on camera pretty good. I feel confident. I feel I can articulate. Like I said, I feel like I'm intelligent enough to have deliveries and talk about very deep, introspective things and experiences. And also, like my books, I think that what I do, I'm not saying I'm the best writer in the world, but I think what I do, I don't think there's many that are better than me. when I think about like what the topics I'm talking about and how I'm able to represent that and deliver it. Um, so this book was different to my other books. Find Your Peace to Save Your Soul. It come from like transcripts from some of my work where I've done a lot of videos. I just thought it's such a waste. So when I read it, I don't think it's my very best book. Like, but the work's still there. But I might think some of the others a bit more flowy. But there's still good bits, within them. Then again, it's all going to be subjective. Someone might like one book more than other books, and it might be the opposite to what I think. So it's really a case of like what you need. This one actually comes from the fact that there's so much hate in the world. I got fed up with witnessing people bullying, a lot of theft, and all these different things. The world's gone to shit. So I thought I'm going to have to address it somehow. I need to find a way to make people just see the light in themselves and recognize the things that are going on in the world to a degree, And again, that's by extension, it's created my other books that are coming in the future, potentially. Who knows? So again, I'm sick and tired of giving up so much of myself. I feel like I'm in quicksand at the moment. So even if the way I see it is, even if I stop, it's not about giving up. It's about slowing down, enjoying myself in different areas because the work I've done is always there, isn't it? It's still there. So I think I've put the effort in for years and never got the recognition. So why should I have to do more now? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Now, that's not giving up. If I decide to release them, I release them. But if I don't, I still think there's enough work there for people to help them heal. I've done it, haven't I? But anyway, I'll just read a little segment from Find Your Peace, Save Your Soul. We don't owe it to anyone to validate or recognize their judgments or opinions. We can be ambivalent and self-contained within our own beliefs and freedoms and disregard others' expectations. And if someone disagrees, that's for them to heal and overcome, not for us to adapt and change to fit in with them. Whilst everyone attracts negatives and positives, negativity tends to have a louder voice, so it's easy to lose perspective and miss the recognition of those who adore us and appreciate what we do by instead focusing on a handful barking all the time. Eventually, we only recognize the barking, which is disproportionate to reality. Consider celebrities. Many idolize them, but some don't like them, and some are hateful without knowing them personally. There's no benefit in focusing on the negative people. I wish them well and healing, and perhaps one day they will love themselves enough not to hate others. Of course, in some circumstances, someone's opinions of others is valid, but from a projection perspective, spewing hate doesn't breed growth, only resentment. So it's easy not to like someone, as we all have the prerogative to discern who we like or don't. There's no reason to spew vile to ruin lives. Rather than hate others, we should focus on elevating ourselves, not at the expense of others, but a genuine progressive growth of our lives, which, if done authentically, will likely take time and more prolonged than those choosing the quick path of destroying someone else for recognition, which is hardly endearing and still means that the person hasn't healed. Undoubtedly, life will come crumbling down on them at some point, and they will heal and find love for themselves rather than live with greed and envy. When people don't like us, we do something worthy of attention, and we must accept that not everyone will get along. We have unique personality traits and lifestyle choices that won't align with everyone, and that's okay. We don't always need to be liked, so if anyone feels like they do, there's something to heal. Otherwise, they'll only be disappointed. Of course, I could go a lot further with that, but you get the gist. Now, when I listen to that back myself, when I read my own work, I think that's pretty good. That's pretty deep. I like that. Because sometimes I forget what I've done, I forget that book because I've done other books, or I read, or like that was the last book, but maybe I've gone on and redid some audio books, or I've read some of the other books, and sometimes I do that. I forget how great the books are. Like even I get mesmerized sometimes. I read the book, I go, God damn, that was good. And it's like, and it still didn't get anywhere. It's like, it's madness to me. So with me personally, I don't feel like my lack of success comes from a lack of ability. It definitely doesn't come from a lack of hard work. It's just a timing thing, I guess. A timing thing and a lack of marketing, because I don't like I refuse to do anything I don't like doing, and I just don't care about the consequences. So although I'm frustrated in my life that I haven't seen the success maybe that I feel I deserve, I still won't go out my way to promote or market myself. So it's just tough. It just really is. I'm not that person. I don't do it. I don't like it. Again, like I said there, time's limited. You do things you don't like to an extent like that. Too much. But yeah, like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm hoping people, use this in the right way rather than see things in a triggering way. And that's not to try to circumvent anything or anything to get myself off the hook. It's literally use tools to your advantage, and that's literally develop. So if you want to be able to achieve something in life, it's like you're gonna have to be able to humble yourself, drop the ego, and start refining and working towards it, because everything takes time. You can't expect to be the best version of yourself overnight. And you can't expect to attract the best people in your life when you're not the best version of yourself. So everything is time. It takes time. But it really comes down to how committed are you to your growth? How committed are you to your success? So how much would you sacrifice for that? And if the answer is, oh, it's going to be too much work, and there's no guarantee at the end of the rainbow, like at the end of the work, there's no guarantee. No, there isn't. But at least you'll be the best version of yourself by the end. And I think that's the reward in itself, isn't it? It's not always going to be tangible. There will be frustrations. It will seem like things are not fair, but you'll be so proud of yourself either way, though. So although my life around me isn't always perfect, and there's always issues, and there are issues I have to contend with, I'm always stable with me. Like I always have me every day. And I'm the most stable version of myself that's ever existed. I'm the most intelligent version that's ever existed. I'm the most healed version. I can go on all little bits there, but that's literally what I am. I'm evolved. I'm refined. Now, doesn't mean I won't be better in the future, but goddamn, I put a lot of work into being this version of me, who I am today, and it's took a long time. So you've got to ask yourself in life in general, what version of you do you want to be? Because you can forgo that, of course. You can forgo the lessons, the growth, the investment in yourself, and just take the easy wins. So you can just accrue money if that's what you think. You can have frivolous situationships, relationships with people. You can just not take anything serious. So you can have a superficial life that'll potentially catch up with you later. And the real problem is every day you're still with an insecure version of self. So although it might seem that you have everything you want, it's just things. Ultimately, the most important thing we should have in our life is a stable version of self, I think, personally. So if you're a confused person, you're insecure, you're weak-minded, so your mental health fluctuates all the time because you literally have no grounded, centered version of yourself. I can't think of anything more frustrating to just constantly be wild and reckless on the loose, no accountability, no reflection of self, and struggle to have like with an identity crisis. I just think, no, I think to be stable, to be healed, that for me is priceless. So things that I have about me, it can't be bought, can't be sold. It's literally ingrained in me now because I took the time to be this version of myself, which means inevitably I set boundaries with people. I don't let people shit on me. So I have too much respect for myself to allow disrespect in my life. Again, people can have opinions of me, but it's like what do you call it? Water off a duck's back. It really makes no difference to me. If someone thinks I hate this person, I don't like them, or they're arrogant, or this and that, it's like that's just projections. That just bounces off me like a shield, like a force field. I don't give a shit. What difference does it make? It's not going to bring me down or make me feel bad about who I am. I know who I am. I know who I am more than anyone else could possibly know. The people inherently just see what they want to see. So again, what I'm getting at here is I see myself. I know how good I am. I've learned my lessons. And yeah, maybe if I had any opportunity 5 years ago, maybe it would have been like imposter syndrome and I would have felt not good enough, or maybe I wouldn't have even been good enough. I've took the time to be this version of me now, and I feel I'm ready. But also, I want to inspire other people to start pursuing their dreams. And ultimately, even if you don't even know exactly what that dream is, it's like investment in self is never a bad thing, is it? So I'd say start investing in yourself, and you never know how life you could change. It doesn't. Again, it's not always going to be in financially. It's not always going to be career and all those things. It's just like the way your life elevates, and the fact that you start shedding layers of yourself, but also removing people who are dead weight. People will keep you. I always say that people keep you where they find themselves comfortable. So if they find you lacking makes them feel good about themselves, or you're like a comfort blanket to them, they will be more than comfortable with you struggling and having issues in your life. And as soon as you start elevating, it's a threat to their illusion of happiness. So then they start getting triggered. But they're the ones you need to get rid of because they were never supporting you in the first place. So you're better off finding people who literally inspire you and you can inspire them. You uplift together. So you're always elevating. You're not in competition. You're just inspiring each other. And that's far better than people that just drain you and weigh you down. So, like I said at the beginning, there, I'm gonna have people that maybe are inspired, and there's gonna be people that hate me. But the ones that I don't like me, they're not my people anyway. They're not people I respect. They're not people I'd want to be near. So, like, if they're just that negative, it's like stay in your negative bubble and see how that gets you, because you're just miserable. So yeah. Anyway, that's me wrapping that up.